he said, well, listen, there's this guy that you should talk to. He runs a local BBS. I'm like, what's a BBS? And he's like, well, he could probably explain a lot to you. So I'm going to introduce you to him, and he could probably teach you a lot. So, one thing led to another.
I just want to interrupt you for a second, just to give a definition. A BBS is what we used to dial into with our computers over a phone line before we had access to the internet.
So what does BBS stand for, Pat? What is that?
It stands for Bulletin Board System.
So is that, my understanding of this, basically you got a phone line, like a plug-in phone line. You set up your computer basically into receive mode so people can just call you, right? So it's like, it's not even like the internet. It's like making a call to somebody, but instead of getting voice, you're getting, text back, basically. Is that an accurate description?
And the software that I would have hosted would have little message boards, email between people that are just on the local that would dial into me. And you shared files. It was mostly shareware stuff, like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D maybe, and Commander Keen type of games.
Just so you had your own phone line then, or was it something that...
I did. I was very high-end. I was very advanced. Yeah.
The rest of us, we had to fight with Mom picking up the phone, and you hear, what is that? I need to call in Jenny. Mom, I'm on the BBS, all right?
I'm on the BBS.
I'm on the Dragon's Den.
You went for a job interview, and one of the sysops from one of our most important local BB.
I think that's one of those things that maybe, Pat, you and I think that's a lot more interesting than maybe other people
Probably.
Because if you grew up with BBSs, the people that ran them were just so faceless. Like, they're just these shadows that you never meet. I mean, at least in our area, there were never meetups. So finally getting to meet one is the guy who ran
Well, and even if there were, we were 14. You couldn't drive to the... our moms would have had to take us, right? That would have been weird, and everybody else would have been adults. It would have all been weird.
would have been weird. Not that it wasn't a little weird anyway.
Yeah.
like oh yeah, Tim, you're the guy always leeching, right? Isn't that what they said? Is that what they said there too?
Yeah, you're the guy that's always down megs of wares.
Wares, yeah. Well, I think about it. It's like, okay, I was on some BBSs. But it was such like a localized thing. Like what people said in Florida could be different than where you guys were. It could have been, the dialect could have been different. I guess.
Oh, heck yeah. And then there was always the good old legendary virus in our neck of the woods, Pat. The Jesus Loves Prunes virus.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I didn't hear about that one.
I'll let Pat tell you that story.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I don't know if our audience will be as excited about it as we were.
Well, I don't think you want to say that to a polite crowd, but that was Bob's fault, and I think he unleashed that on, was it Matt Fragar?
Somebody like that, yeah, and it was...
Back.
Yeah, and it didn't even do what he meant it to do. It was worse.
It would be a felony these days, but back then it was just a nuisance.
I guess the thing that was neat about that, it was just like how local it was. I mean, the internet, it's like, I mean, it's nice that the internet's not, I mean, I'm talking to Pat and you guys are elsewhere, but it's kind of cool. There was a bit of a, these people are probably within an hour of me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been, neat. God, an hour away would have been like the other side of the country for us.
What do you...
Well, we were 14, Jeremy.
Yeah, we were 14. We couldn't drive.
An hour drive away when you're walking is...
It would have seemed like it was just like a different world.
Yeah.
Right.